Joined right now by the Spartan Elias Theodorou. Elias, what's going on, my man?
Not much. Just on my way to Melbourne with the parents and the girlfriend, and enjoying a beer at 9 o'clock in the morning. But hey, that's what happens when you're having a victory beer.
That's it. Good stuff. Well, hey, man, it's 5:23 local time here, so that's actually your correct time. So you're okay to have a beer.
Noon somewhere.
All right, man, let's talk about the fight versus Dan Kelly. I didn't see this coming, but there was some animosity, I guess, leading into the fight and fans booing you afterwards.
Well, it was actually more him. It was ironic because he was calling me two-faced in some interviews because he didn't like some of the things I said on Twitter. Apparently, I kind of like dubbed the fight, hot and sexy, but half kidding, you know what I mean? It wasn't anything personal. Anyways, so we did some media obligations, and he was shaking my hand, and I thought everything was fine. And then we got into an elevator together at some point, and all of a sudden he just turns to me and starts cussing me out and basically cusses me off and says, I'm two-faced and to go fuck yourself, etc., etc. Not to talk to him. So I obliged. And then again, the ironic part, he's calling me two-faced. In the fight, he puts his hand out to high-five me when he just cussed me out the day before and told to talk to. Very confusing. But the crowd down hero, he's someone that represents their country 4 times in the Olympics, so they booed me, the guy that played the spoiler.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize for the reception. Obviously, we're across the world right now with Elias. I'm in Toronto. He's in Sydney. So, what's that?
Like what I'm saying, or can't hear me?
No, we can. It's just distorted. The picture's a bit distorted, which is fine, but the audio as well is coming in choppy. We'll continue to do this and get the best from you as we can. Performance done. Tons. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. Yeah, you were saying. Sorry, go on.
No. I mean, in watching the fight, leg kicks were obviously the hors d'oeuvres of the evening. I mean, those things were flying nonstop on your end. How was your leg feeling?
Totally fine. It's a little swollen, knees a little banged up or whatever, but to be expected when you throw 109 kicks in a fight.
Well, the tally was 109 kicks. Was that the game plan specifically going in to keep chopping away at his elbows with the shin pads or with the shins? Excuse me.
Yeah, no, 100%. Keeping distance was the real important thing. He has an unorthodox style like myself, but in a different capacity. It was working, and I kept on going with it. Obviously, going back to the drawing board, there's definitely more I need to add in regards to hands and the knees that I was doing were very effective. So moving forward, I need to add more of those, but again, I got a win on a very dominant or a very, game opponent, and I didn't tap in a very precarious situation, and there was no close. Again, one of the things I needed to learn from the Tavares fight was I'm a little too comfortable giving up my back in some regards. Faraz calls me an escape artist. I, in many ways, am like Houdini, and I'll never tap. So, pros and cons. I got my hand raised and to fight decisively. One of the judges gave me 30-26, which means they thought in one round he didn't really do anything. And you know what? The positive, I think, out of this is I'm a couple of my training partners joke that I'm really good. Like my superpower, if it would be, is like the nullifier. I'm very good at nullifying anyone's ability, and I just got to add more to it. Again, like I kind of said in the post-fight speech, where I've only been doing this in any capacity for 7-8 years, and 6 of those have been in the as a professional, and 4 of those have been in a high-pressure main stage of the UFC. So growing and learning, and I get my hand raised, and 15-2 sounds a lot better than 14-2.
Absolutely. Cheers to that, obviously. Are you pissed off that you didn't get to finish, or because the talent gets better as you move up? So it's going to be harder to finish, technically speaking. But did you think you were going to finish him?
There was a couple of times where I wobbled him, both with kicks and hitting him to the head. There were a couple of times when I've watched the fight a couple of times since where I really think when I hit him, he wobbled. And it just comes with more confidence in doing me. I think the day that the day that I'm as good as I am in training is the day that I can start becoming a top 10, top 5 fighter. So it's just more mat time, really. It's just not even in the gym. I mean, more cage time specifically. The more I'm in the cage, and I competed against someone that has been doing judo longer than I've been on this earth. So tough game and opponent. Still in his 4th decade, wanted to rip my head off. There are a lot of interesting matches going forward. Like Jocko's an interesting one. Anthony Smith would be an interesting fight. Like those are again gamed opponents that we'll have to see. Obviously, there's also a card in Winnipeg with 2 middleweight fights. So that's 4 middleweights that are in not my hometown, but in my home country. And I'll be, after this week, I'm putting down the beer and looking to be back in shape. And if one of those guys get injured, I'd happily step in and perform in Winnipeg, especially because I don't need a visa and I won't get 30% of my paycheck taken off the top from taxes when I do that.
So you just announced it now. Are you going to contact Sean Shelby and say, hey, I'll be ready if you need me in Winnipeg?
Well, no, I just took the last 2 days. I'll definitely do that right after this.
Absolutely. Well, I know you said you're heading to Melbourne. What's going on over there?
Well, we'll see. I'm with, like I said, the parents and the girlfriend, and it was just in Sydney. It was a little overcast, so we said to hell with it. We'll just we basically drove because flying over is not the same, and we went through like a really couple of cool coastal areas. We drove along the coast. It took the longer route to Melbourne, but we got to see some kangaroos already, so no complaints there.
Are you getting recognized after the fight with Dan?
Yeah, a couple of hellos and a couple of boos still.
How do you do
might go the pro rep. I love it. Who knows? Whether they cheer for you or boo you, they're still thinking about you, right? And no press is bad press.
Well, I mean, I can ask you this next question as a media member, or I could ask you as a friend. I'll do it as a friend. Please be careful. Take care of the family. Take care of the missus. Have yourself a wonderful time, and I cannot wait for you to come back home.
Boom. We'll have a couple of these together.
Beautiful.
Cheers,
love it.